it's affected by momentum and gravity. And the idea behind that is how gravity works is I mean, it works the same way everybody says it, you know, something that's bigger has more gravity. But it's basically all of the stars and stuff exude energy, light, but everything also sucks hyperdimensional light back into it. It's the same thing, but it's just a higher dimension, higher frequency vibration getting sucked back into it. It's the way the universe communicates with itself. It's its expression of love, of trying to be at one with itself. And so that's what gravity is. Everything communicates with itself and sucks in. However, it is also coupled. I guess there's two sides of a coin. It's the positive and negative of it. The gravity is lessened by the centrifugal force of a planet spinning around. So I guess theoretically, if our planet were to stop spinning, we would be a lot heavier, because the centrifugal force of the planet spinning around is keeping us kind of constantly getting like pulled away from the Earth. Kind of like if you spin a wet towel around really fast, the water's going to get pulled off the end of it. So when you spin something around really fast, it's spinning around so fast that the gravitons, that higher dimensional frequency light that tries to constantly go into it, gets spun off of it. It can't stay in it as much. And because it can't stay in it and it gets spun off of it, it weighs less. In itself actually weighs less. So that's how you make an anti-gravity machine. You put a gyroscope inside of it. Now I heard Bob Lazar said that the element that the aliens use is element 118, which is way heavier than the heaviest element we have, 93, uranium. So I guess it comes from another planet, and I don't even know how they made it, but it's so heavy. So I guess because it's so heavy, it has more ability to throw off more gravitons and thusly become lighter. So it spins around so fast, it throws all the gravitons off and it flies right. But then you say, well, doesn't the torsion field hold it steady? Well, not really. If you spin a bicycle wheel around really fast, you can't move the bicycle wheel because the torsion field, or not the torsion field, but the momentum of it keeps it tight like that. But you can still move it up and down, inside like that, just as well as you ever could. So that's the principle of this thing spinning around. It spins around so fast that it makes it not weigh anything, but you can still move it around. Anyways, that's as much as I understand of it. But another scientific experiment they did is they had these batteries that they use electric energy to get the battery coil to spin around, and it takes like a minute and a half or something, or like 5 minutes, or it takes like 1500 volts to get it to spin around to this really fast pace. And then they would stop it, clamp it down, and then like make it stop. And then if they add energy to it again, you would think that you'd have to add another 1500 volts to it to get it to and go up again, right? No. They add energy to it and it goes really fast all of a sudden. They go, why? It's because there's this hyperdimensional energy that it created, a torsion field that is still spinning around. Because what's on this dimension, the iron that this gyroscope was made out of, is influencing a hyperdimensional world of energy, which made that energy spin around it. And so when you're putting energy into this thing to make it spin around, you're also making it have to use that energy to spin this hyperdimensional energy around, because it's all connected. So like if we had like eyes that could detect all of these other light waves in the spectrum, and we have instruments that can detect other light waves, infrared, ultraviolet, It's just our eyes are designed to not see those. We only see this much. But if we could see it, we would also see these other swirls spinning around it. And so that's the torsion field. And it's analogous to if you were to spin water around in a glass really fast, and then the water spins around, and then you throw like powder in it, you'll see the powder spin around it. So like, if you put water inside of a glass, and then you, like an egg, for example. If you get an egg that's raw and you spin the egg around and then you hold the egg and then you let the egg go, it's going to start spinning around again because what's inside of it is still spinning. Whereas if you get a hard-boiled egg and you stop it, it won't. So it's kind of like that. So it proves that there's these torsion fields. So that's how this dimension influences the hyperdimension. And so what the pyramids do is the pyramids are in this solid configuration which represent the most basic of the Platonic solids, the upper half of the tetrahedron, which is how the first higher dimension, I think fourth dimension energy comes in its certain pattern into the spheres, which I explained in the David Wilcock video. Because it's mere act of being there, and because it's kind of like a unique shape, an abnormal shape, the hyperdimensional energy that's already there flowing around the Earth in this formation of energy, hyperdimensional energy, coming in and out of the vortexes and moving in and out through the torus and the north and the south pole like this. And let me go back really quick because I forgot about the David Wilcock video. I guess when these two shapes, the tetrahedron and the octahedron, are spinning around counterclockwise to each other, when their vortexes align, that's when all the energy comes out, and that's when you get energy bursts of shootings to us, because the energy comes in and out, but then they line up, and you're getting not just fourth dimensional energy, but also fifth dimensional energy, and then maybe even another higher vibration of shape that aligns with it, and then you get all of the fourth, fifth, sixth dimension coming out at you. So that's how that works. So anyway, so you have like, the pyramid, the physical representation in this world that's there. And it's really big, and it's made perfectly like that, so that it makes all this hyperdimensional energy that's all flowing through it get sucked into it through the bottom. Kind of like water gets sucked through a funnel. When you pull the plug on the funnel, the water falls down and spirals down it. The energy, this etheric energy, gets sucked into the bottom of the pyramid and spirals up through the pyramid, and then it hits the top of the pyramid and then shoots out like a laser. And some people have seen the art of that, of a pyramid and then a laser coming out of it. And so I guess physically in a hyperdimensional world, it's actually like that. So you'd have these three swirls of energy, the one where it all starts to get sucked in, kind of like water of the river starting to come together in between the two rocks at the beginning of the rapid. And then it goes in, and then it starts to swirl around, and that's kind of like where the rapid starts to funnel, and then it swirls and swirls, and then just comes together and shoots out like a laser. And all lasers really are spirals anyway. They're just really tightly woven spirals. Kind of like a rope is a spiral of little threads, kind of like that. So basically, I guess the Queen's Chamber and the King's Chamber are placed in the perfect area. I guess the Queen's Chamber may be 19.5 degrees maybe from the bottom of the pyramid, which is where, I guess it expresses the feminine side of us, which it'll open up your chakra, and then the King's Chamber, like the masculine side of us, opening up that chakra. I didn't really follow it when they got to that point, but because it's shooting all of this flowing, spiraling, hyperdimensional energy through the pyramid, maybe it's all the different kinds of hyperdimensional energies, the energy from the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth dimension. Maybe at least how I understand it now is that each of the chakras corresponds to energy from the fourth, fifth, sixth, sixth dimension. So like, your basic root chakra, and they all correspond to various colors too. So the basic root chakra, the sexual chakra is red color.